The next bit I want to talk to you guys about is the limiting beliefs that are going to exist in your industry. Now, limiting beliefs exist in just about every industry, but they're particularly common when you're starting up. A lot of limiting beliefs are pushed on people who are new in the industry, or maybe their business isn't as successful as somebody else's, or maybe there's some kind of educator who's trying to put you into like a very small box or a very narrow path of like, this is what you have to do to become successful. And maybe it's a proven method, maybe it would work for you, but in your mind, you're thinking, there's not a lot of ways to get where I want to go. And we know that that's not true. We have seen brands be absolutely crazy and like unhinged and become very successful. Something that comes to mind right now as I'm filming this is Duolingo, which is like a language learning app on TikTok, is particularly crazy. So like if you're not on TikTok, I would recommend downloading it just to watch and study Duolingo and what they've done with their brand, because it's absolutely insane. Like they're having so much fun. They're breaking out of so many boxes. They've kind of left their corporate persona behind to try to connect with an audience that they want to work with. And it's crazy. Like it's really fun to watch. And there's also ways where people have trailblazed whole new industries that we didn't even know existed. Like thinking to like Uber and Uber Eats. When Uber came out, we were like, but like taxis, you would call a taxi service to get a ride, right? But Uber trailblazed this path of the gig economy, and they were like, well, why can't anyone become a taxi driver? We're gonna create a platform to connect people so that that can happen. They just did the same thing with Uber Eats, because it was like you can order a pizza, and that's the only thing you could really order and have it delivered to your house. So Uber Eats was like, well, we already did this with like the taxi and ride sharing service, so why don't we go ahead and do it with food? Boom, whole new industry. They created out of thin air because they had an idea and they had some guy who could build an app, and they did it. When you think about companies like that and their stories and their journeys, and you think about all the limiting beliefs they had to overcome, like they looked in the face of an industry, a very big industry, the taxi industry, transportation, and they were like, we can actually be successful in this along with all these other taxi services, along with all these people who already exist and are already doing really great things and already have a business and already have clout and already have this whole thing set up. We can come in and be a player in this space as well. And I see the same thing a lot of times with wedding vendors. They're thinking like, how am I gonna be a photographer when there's already millions of photographers in the world and there's thousands in my state? Like, how am I gonna compete with them? There's people who are super successful. How am I just gonna walk in and be like, yeah, I have a business too? How am I gonna do that? How am I gonna be successful? How am I gonna make money? How am I gonna pay my bills? How am I gonna get started when everyone else is like so far along? And if you wanna talk about limiting beliefs, let's talk about the wedding industry, because they're rampant in our industry. Like, it's absolutely insane the things people tell newcomers to the industry, what they have to do, what they can and can't do, how to set their prices, how to be successful, how to market online. And everyone looks exactly the same. Everyone's just as successful or unsuccessful. And it's just this mess of like limiting mindsets, limiting beliefs. You can break out of those belief systems so easily. But sometimes it takes someone, and I hope I can be this person for you, to just tell you, like, you don't have to listen to them. This is your business, and you can run your business the way you want to run your business. You don't have to market like everybody else. You can make up your own marketing strategies. You can be completely unhinged and like super fun and have a ton of personality, or you can be that person who smiles behind the camera like everybody else and post pictures on your feed. Or maybe you're someone who's like not super interested in the marketing side of things, which this is kind of where I come in. Like, look, I don't have the time. I don't want to be sitting here like marketing and posting to Instagram 10 times a day. Like, I go dark on Instagram for weeks at a time. Like, I don't care. I'm doing what works for me and what works for my business, because I'm connecting with my clientele on other platforms. So like, no, I don't care about Instagram. My YouTube is fun. This is what I'm putting a lot of time into right now. I like my Facebook community that I've got going, full of other videographers, and we chat there. but I'm not gonna like bust my butt working on something that I don't want to be a part of or that I feel like is draining my energy. And that's not a very popular belief system. There's also the limiting belief of like hustle culture. And hustle culture is so toxic. Like, it's such a bad idea. It's something that we're all fighting against in America because we are a country that works a lot of hours and we work very hard. Now, not compared to some other countries that have a lot of labor issues, but as far as like developed first world countries, we don't have the best work-life balance. And that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs are combating against. And we think having a flexible schedule fixes all of that. But how flexible is your schedule really if you can take 2 hours off in the afternoon to play with your kids, but now you have to work until 10 o'clock at night to make up for it? That's not a good work-life balance. No, absolutely not. If you want like true flexibility, you have to build your business to function like that. And you may or may not be able to brag to all your friends like, oh yeah, man, I put in like 87 hours this week and I work so freaking hard, yada, yada. Like, now I get excited when I only have to work 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week. Every once in a while, I don't work at all in a week if I'm busy with my personal life because I built my business that way. And it's not a popular mindset because it's not the hustle mindset. And people are like, how are you going to be successful if you're only working a couple hours a week? Well, it's because I spent a lot of time working 80 hours a week. I put in the work in the beginning, and now I've built my business to a place where I can kind of relax. And that's what a lot of people realize when they get deep into their business and they start to change their mindset around, okay, I thought I had to hustle all the time, but really, the true freedom comes in when I can take time off. I can walk away from my business at any point for a couple days, a couple weeks, sometimes a couple months, and it's gonna stay intact and it's gonna run. Because I built processes to get it going and I'm not gonna stress about it. Because it's just a business. Your life is more important than your business. And your business needs to serve you. That's another limiting belief I hear a lot, is your life is all about your work. And that's a really popular, like, westernized concept of work-life balance. Your life is all about your work. You have to spend your life working on something, being dedicated to something. You have to run yourself ragged over something. And a lot of times it's someone's 9 to 5. They're putting in a lot more hours than the 40 hours a week. Sometimes it's their business. They're putting in like 100 hours a week into their business, and there's no reason for that. That's not a successful business. If you cannot step away from it for a day to catch your breath and spend time with your family and hang out, that's not a successful business. We need to reframe the way that we're thinking about that. So finally, moving on to ways that you can stay vigilant in your mind and change your mindset around these things and do a little bit of mindset work. So when you feel the stress in your business, or you're thinking about some move you want to make or some progress that you want to see in your business, and you're wondering, okay, what would all these other people do? And what would this success actually look like? Why are you thinking about what other people are doing? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? What do you define as success in your business? Are you a working mom? So success for you might be getting as much time back as you can, right? So for you, if you're out here trying to compare yourself to all these people who are working crazy hours and they're running themselves absolutely ragged, that's not going to be a good role model for you. That's not going to be a good mindset for you to be in, because you're going to burn yourself out as a mother and as a business owner. On the flip side, maybe you're somebody who is single, you don't have any responsibilities outside of your business or your job. Maybe you're working full-time and you're running your business on the side, and you work full-time, you work your 40 hours a week, then you're putting in another 40 hours a week into your business and you're exhausted. And that's totally fair. Having a full-time job and running your business at the same time is a lot. I did it for years and it's very draining. It's very difficult. But something that might be good for you is to think, okay, I know I have to have this 9 to 5. I know I have to work these 40 hours a week to make XYZ money so that I can live the lifestyle I want. I'm in control of my business, so what can I do in my business to give myself a little bit more free time, to have more control over my schedule? Or do I need to just simplify my business? You have that power. You can control anything that's in your power. That 9 to 5, you might have set hours. You don't get to control that, but you can control what you're doing in your business. So look for these areas that you have control over in your life. Where can you give and take, and where can you mold your business to suit you instead of that business running your life? So those are the thoughts I want to leave you with. You have complete control over your business because it is yours. Think about what you want your business to be. How do you want it to serve you? And when you feel these thoughts creeping in that are overwhelming or suffocating, or you feel like this thought is from somebody else and it's not serving you and your ultimate purpose, throw it away. Sit with it, meditate on it, be like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this pressure? Why does XYZ's voice matter so much to me? Put it aside and think, what do I want? What do I want out of my business? How am I defining success? And what moves do I need to make to see that come to fruition in my life?